This is the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast where we discuss Miles Morales, the one and only Spider-Man. I'm Zach, and joining me as always is uh, John, John Tell
You had a lot of
O'Paddington.
time for this one.
I know.
Too much
Some-
time, you might
Some
say.
would say too much time. Yeah,
Yep.
like a month. A failure of my own making, really. Sorry, webheads, that there has been no episode for you. How you doing, man?
We're not going to move past that. You're not getting off scot-free.
Oh no,
Zach, I come in once a week or once every 2 weeks. I put out podcast gold for these listeners, and you can't edit it and get it out to them in a timely manner.
Yeah. I mean, it was a 2.5 hour episode. And I've been told that we should not put the parts about Mormons in there.
Why? I'm the one that said all that.
Well,
it's your edit, so you get to pick what you want.
yeah, I haven't even started, truth be told.
Good grief.
I'm such a bad host at this show.
Well,
but-
I'm gonna get this one out by next weekend, so they'll get two weeks in a row here. Okay.
Yep, of us
Or
standing
maybe
on
I
our
won't.
business. Yeah, it's been a busy time
Oh
in my
well,
life.
whatever. Now I've moved past it. We don't have to.
Oh,
Yeah. What have
okay.
you been up to?
I am. This is really gonna suck if I put this out there on the internet and then like I hear that it's a no go. I didn't make it,
it.
but I am trying
Architecture
to.
school.
Yeah, did I already tell you?
That was a 100% guess.
Yes, I'm trying to apply to a master's program for architecture.
I couldn't decide if I wanted to put in real applause or fake applause. I'm proud of you, Zach.
Thank you. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of like you have to have a portfolio beforehand, and it's like I don't have a portfolio, so I've just been taking a bunch of like courses online that get me little like I don't know bullshit certifications
Yeah.
and
I know the
Doing-
game.
doing little sketches and stuff. Yeah, so
Very
gonna get-
cool.
gonna get that in here soon. And then also trying to find a
yeah.
new job, hopefully one that is like flexible with a student schedule.
or maybe even something that is architecture related. Because if you get accepted into that program, or even if you're trying to, that's going to make companies maybe want to look at you that wouldn't normally.
That's true. I can sharpen pencils for a real architect.
Exactly. And then once you get, once you pass the courses, then you'll already be at a company.
Yeah. I had a buddy who said the same thing. And I mean, I'm definitely going to look into it. I'm going to, look under every stone. But the problem is the program is in Columbus, and like most firms are out of Indy, so that's like an hour between like school and work, which is fine. Like I can do it, but I'm going to see, I've got some time to figure something out.
I love that. You'll have to keep us all in the loop as it goes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then also this is like me soft launching, asking you if I could put you down as a reference since you've been my
100%.
supervisor.
I technically wasn't
Yes.
I? Dude, 100%. I would have glowing things to say
Okay. I appreciate
about our
it.
podcast.
Yeah.
He's such a good podcast host. You should hear him.
Man, you really got to ask this guy about his political thoughts. They're not extreme at all.
Okay, well, knowing that you're trying to get a new job, maybe I'll take out. Maybe we'll try and tone this down for a couple episodes.
I appreciate it. What have you been up to, John?
As segues perfectly into what I've been up to, because I've been up to a couple different things in the. I know it's been like half a year since we spoke to each other, but my relationship with this Mormon girl is going pretty well.
Let's go.
Yep.
Oh,
And
you can take this out if this is in poor taste.
I
but
don't
have
care.
Have you guys soaked yet?
Jeez. Did I tell you I asked her about that?
No. What did she say?
Because she went to BYU, and I was I was like, I've only heard like one thing about BYU or something.
It's the thing everyone's heard about it.
Exactly. I was like, surely people don't actually do that, right? That's so stupid. Surely not. And she was like, you would be surprised at how many people do it. And I was like, give me a percent. And she said 25%. And I was like, whoa, that's way higher than I thought it was going to be. That's a very high percent of soaking going on in the BYU campus.
Is that including like, because there's different descriptions online of the act. My favorite one includes like you're on a bunk bed and you've got a homie down below who's giving you the assist.
Dude, I think that's what it is.
That's
so
25%.
25% include that person.
Are doing like the world's shittiest three ways. Going to Mormon school
take
to
turns,
do
right?
Oh, sure, yeah. The Bible talks about sharing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean like on the same night potentially. I meant
oh, like your roommate's like, I'll get you this time.
I'll hook you up if you hook me up next time. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
we've all been there, right?
Takes me back to college.
Okay, so that's been going well. And listen to this. Listen to what we're doing this weekend. You asked about the season-long bets. That's going to tie into this. And then I'm going to tie this into architecture also. So we're really going to hit on things. This weekend, I'm actually going to meet her family in Champaign, Illinois. And they are big Illinois University fans. Did I mention this already?
Let's go. And you're gonna be the most authentic, like, Illini head there because
I'm gonna be the
money
biggest
on
fan.
the line.
Exactly. I was thinking about that. Anyway, and yes, I do think I care more about the wins than the normal fans. But okay, so her family is big Illinois fans. She kind of like grew up near the Illinois campus, like going to the campus to like do things. So they are like legit Illinois University heads. And as am I this year, so it's kind of like crazy. And we are going to go to the game. It's the season finale against Northwestern at Illinois University. It's going to be cold as can be and like snowing. And of course the tickets were way too expensive. I was like sure, it'd be fun to go if like pending the price of tickets, and next thing I know tickets were bought and they're like absurd, and I'm like, I would not have said we should go to this game.
Well, I think where they may have messed up with choosing this game in particular is Northwestern is not 2 hours up the road. So
it's the season finale. So,
and it's the season finale. That would
it's a rivalry.
Be a sellout.
It's a rivalry game. It's the season finale. Yes, it will be really fun. And Illinois has 7 wins and they need to get to 8, and it's the season finale. They just lost a really bad game against Wisconsin. They looked terrible. It was a game that they were favored in. I could have hedged my bet, and I didn't, because I was like, well, they've got 2 weeks to get a win, so I won't hedge. And now they have 1 week to get a win. And
let me ask you this.
I don't know.
Does your bet include potentially the postseason?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, man. I was going to say, because, like, best case scenario is, like, they're in the Pinstripe Bowl against James Madison or something, and you're like, well,
no, it's regular season. So I do think that they'll get the win, at home. It's senior night. The game against Wisconsin was a bad spot. But anyway, this is a big one, and we're meeting the family this week. But her name's Mandy. Just Mandy and I are going to the game. Okay, but then listen to how her dad is like a pilot, like flies not commercial airlines, but like small personal aircrafts, and he is picking me up on Friday in a plane drive to Chicago, because she's already going down to Chicago. And it was like, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to drive down? I'll drive down and then we drive back separate, or do you want to drive back and then we'll just drive down together? And what we landed on is her dad's and she's going to fly with him, are going to come and pick me up
in a plane. Your private jet has arrived, sir.
My private small aircraft that I'm sure won't. I know some comedian has a joke that like when those things go down, they don't even make the news. It's like I'm not super comfortable with this, but I was assured it's safe and will be fun.
I mean, it's probably just like a Cessna or something, right?
I don't know. What is that? What's that
It's
word?
a Cessna. It's like the personal plane for pilots,
It's not
essentially.
that one. If you said the word, I would recognize an Aztec is what
Okay.
she said.
Hmm.
Some sort of thing. It's a
He has
seven-seater.
the opportunity to do the funniest like shotgun talk. Like, what's
I
your
wouldn't- I
intentions
wouldn't-
with
I
my
wouldn't-
daughter?
I wouldn't go if she wasn't coming with me because I'm like I don't even want to. I wouldn't be actually nervous about that, but I'm like I don't even want to have to deal with those jokes. So
Sure. Because of the implication.
because of the implication, of course. Yes. So that
did that
will
have
be
to-
fun.
Do with architecture?
Here's what has to do with architecture. So what I've been doing the past entire day today, and watched a couple episodes with Mandy yesterday, is watching Severance, and it's so good. I just finished season 1. As soon as we get off here, I'm gonna go start season 2. Have you ever seen it?
No, I had a coworker tell me about it. But you know how like conversations with coworkers are. Like they could be recommending the best thing in the world and you're just like, "Oh, cool,
Oh yeah,
check
I'll
it
check
out."
it out. Yeah.
And then you just kind of blow it off.
Well, I have known for a while it's a show I'd really like. It's just on Apple TV, and that's like the one thing I'm not logged into on all my devices, so I've never watched it. And we did check out a couple episodes, and it is really good. But anyway, in season 1, I said something about like the building and the cemetery, and she was like, "Oh, the architecture is important in the show," and I said, "My buddy Zach would love that. He's a big architecture guy." And then you came on the next day and said you were applying to architecture school.
Wow. What are the odds? And I realized this also. So I have an undergrad degree in media studies. So theoretically, once I get a master's degree in architecture and like have a license and can practice and stuff, there is an entire industry of like people who have to like create the architecture for movies and TV shows and stuff. And I've thought, oh, that would be a kind of cool path to go down. And
Definitely.
having a media background would maybe be a way to do that. Not saying that's what I want to do, but it's not. It's something I would not want to do. I mean, it beats the hell out of every job I've had so far.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
I just
that'd
want to
be
do
awesome.
anything with buildings, man.
Yeah. Well, as someone with a master's, I'd say go for it.
I
think you'll
appreciate
do
it,
Great.
and I appreciate you saying
We're gonna
that I
have
can.
dual masters on this podcast.
For a while now, I had felt like everyone in my life had master's degrees, but me. And
That's
so
because they're not that impressive.
I think they're impressive, dude. It's like if
It's a
everyone.
scam.
It's like if everyone you knew had run a marathon. You'd kind of in the back of your head be like, well, what's wrong with me that I'm not running a marathon?
I do know a lot of people that have run a marathon, and I'm always like, couldn't be me.
I want to run one single marathon to say that I did.
Dude, they're really hard. And you have to like train for them.
Oh, I wasn't aware. That's why
if I
you
could
do
just
it.
wake up and do it, I would do it. But, I don't have the patience to train. I think
It's
it
the-
takes too long, okay?
Mhm.
To run that many miles, it takes too long.
I mean,
Got
maybe
important
for
shit
you.
going on in my life. I gotta watch Severance season 2.
What is?
And
what
I'm
did
not
JFK
logged in
say?
on my phone, so I wouldn't be able to watch it while I run.
Eventually that's where it's going to get to is people are going to have like these VR headsets on as they're running marathons and they're just watching TV for 26 and a half miles.
Definitely. I bet there are people that like already do that. They like put their phone on like their head and it just like plays.
Yeah. A lot of people who run marathons like shit themselves in the course of it.
Disgusting.
I don't know why I would share this, but I'm about to. I was in Indianapolis maybe a year or two ago when they were doing like their marathon and mini marathon downtown. And they had, stuff all over the streets for it, like from like food trucks and prizes and just crowds and gates and fences and stuff. And I went up to a porta potty and I saw the evidence of someone who was probably holding it in for several miles and just barely didn't make it. And I was like, what do you do in that situation? Do you finish the race or do you just like kill yourself? I don't know.
I don't know. That's tough. I guess you kill yourself. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I would go for, but you know, also you just put in all that. Let's say you just ran 17 miles. Are you really going to quit like when you're over halfway there?
You probably have someone who has a spare set of clothes at the ready.
Dude,
if you think that could happen.
Not to be foul, but they would have needed like a whole shower. I mean, there wasn't any solid in this.
All right. Should we get into Spider-Man?
Let's do that.
Let's throw it over to our sponsors first, Dude Wipes.
Every business says they're better. But the ones that earn and display the BBB seal back it up. It instantly identifies businesses that are committed to operating with integrity, honoring promises, and telling the truth. Makes you wonder why every business doesn't have it. So look for it, because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
All right, and we're back. We're getting into Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates, issues 13 and 14 today.
And we are really back because it's been a while. Because I don't know if we already mentioned this, but Zach hasn't edited the last podcast yet.
And we're really, really back because the cover of this one has your guy. That's your boy, John.
That is my boy.
Do you want this one?
Reaching out to Captain Britain.
What?
Is that who that is? Right? Isn't he like reaching hands with Captain Britain or something?
Not that I can see. He's just got his shield. He's got the bullet in his teeth. Are we looking at the same one?
It's time for another episode of our favorite minigame. Did I read the correct issue? Let's see. I feel confident that I did. But I don't know. This was like the Divided We Fall. Ultimate Comics Spider-Man number 13. Divided We Fall.
No, the Ultimates.
What? Ultimate Collection Ultimates?
Ultimate Comics The Ultimates.
See, this is the problem with this country. Everything's too difficult. Ultimate Comics The Ultimates. Okay, well, just so you know, I read Ultimate Comics Spider-Man issues 13 and 14 because that's where Captain America comes back. So I was thinking that was it.
No, he comes back here first. All right. So this is truly going to be a first read podcast.
I mean, Captain America comes back in those issues.
Captain America comes back in a lot of these issues.
Okay, so this is issue 13 too.
Yes.
It doesn't really help that they were both issues 13 and 14.
And
they
say
were both
Divided We Fall.
Where Captain America comes back and they both say Divided We Fall on the side. Wow, he's holding a bullet in his mouth. Why? Did he catch it with his teeth?
I think he caught it with his teeth. Getting us into this one is written by Sam Humphries.
Unless we want to read my issues.
We will. Don't worry, we'll get there.
Okay. All right, good. Captain America's back. I got the gist of it anyways.
Written by Sam Humphries, penciled by Billy Tan, inked by Terry Pallett, colored by Matt Milla, and lettered by VC's Clayton Cowles. It says, the Ultimates are scattered, Washington is decimated, the government is a mess, the Southwest is in chaos, states are seceding from the Union, America is falling apart. Divided We Fall, Part 1. And on the second page, it says SHIELD Situation Map. And it's literally got a United States map with certain states colored different colors. And it's like, oh, the West Coast, status unknown. Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Arizona, New Mexico, Georgia, anti-government military hotspots. Eastern Seaboard is under control. Texas is a nuclear-armed nation. The Sentinels have controlled the American Southwest.
So that's interesting. The Sentinels control the Southwest.
Yes. So, John, I did do some good work in my month-long hiatus from responsibility, and I read a lot of Ultimate X-Men that was coming out at this time, and I can tell you what's going on now with the Sentinels. Pietro, Quicksilver, right? Bad guy. We don't like him. Remember, he killed Cyclops. He's like doing his own thing. He
ran a bullet through his head.
He did. Which, I'm not going to lie, is a baller way to kill someone.
It is.
Pietro showed up to the White House and convinced the president. The funny thing was, this was before the bomb went off, so I think it was President Obama. Pietro had convinced him oh, mutants are a problem. You gotta release the Sentinels on them.
But Pietro's a mutant.
He is, but he's not. He doesn't have mutant solidarity. He doesn't see himself as part of this oppressed minority because he can just run away from his problems, literally. Wow. And he had something in the works where they're going to release the Sentinels on all the mutants, but then Pietro is actually the one controlling them. And he's like, later, nerds. And he just runs off with a Sentinel army that just starts killing humans and mutants and taking over the Southwest.
Wow. Okay.
And so the X-Men are down there fighting against the Sentinels and essentially his plan.
Okay.
But this is just the landscape of this event. Divided We Fall is what happens when there's multiple catastrophes at once. If you had 9/11 and the COVID pandemic and the American Civil War and World War II all simultaneously, how do you juggle all those crises? And that's kind of what they're doing across the entire line in the Ultimate Universe right now. So we open in Camp Hutton, which is it literally is just the inside of a cave with some floodlights put up, and they say temporary office of the President of the United States, 311 feet beneath sea level. John, do you remember 311?
No.
You didn't listen to 311?
No.
A band in the 90s?
I never heard them.
Amber is the color of your energy. Whoa.
Don't I say that?
You've said it before, and I'm like, oh, are you referencing...
Yellow is the color of my energy.
Yeah, I thought you were referencing 311 when you said that. I think we're ready for a 311 renaissance. I think they would do really well right now with the kids. Anyways, the president is talking, and his bitch-ass S.H.I.E.L.D. director, Flum, the bad guy, is we have to keep going after the Ultimates. That's just all he cares about. And the president's like, no, we need to use them to help solve these problems. And he's like, no, those are Fury's guys. You can't trust those Ultimates. And he's like, buddy, you're the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they are S.H.I.E.L.D. employees. Control your people. And then Carol Danvers walks in, and she's like, is this a bad time? And he's like, Carol, baby, you're going to be my new chief of staff. Because remember, we've established that she was his college roommate, right?
Yes. They're friends.
Yes. And he's like, basically, I need you. I need someone I can trust. He says, we've got 6 Code Red situations that are out of control. Texas seceded from the Union. They turned all their S.H.I.E.L.D. bases against us. We've got fuzzy reports they've uncovered a very dangerous weapon system and they won't talk to us. And then he talks about some of the other issues, but really that's the one we're focusing on right now, most immediately. And they've got the TV on in the background and they say, sir, you're going to want to see this. And it says live, the former state of New Mexico, militia uprising, American soldiers interfering in the surrounded Southwest. And we see none other than the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan, Captain Steve Rogers, kicking ass and taking names.
He's socking a guy in the jaw.
Yep. And he's
Giving
in his
him what
old
for?
he's in his old like World War II uniform where it's like a motorcycle helmet. It's not what we normally see him in when he suits up. And it says Captain America is back in action, and we go live to the scene. We're not like looking through a TV anymore. There's a bunch of bullets bouncing off of his shield, and he's taking all these.
So these are the anti-government militias he's taken out.
Correct. And I think these guys are actually technically Hydra. I'm pretty sure that was something I learned from Ultimate
X-Men. That would make sense for why he's going after them right away.
Yeah. I think it was like Hydra kind of co-opted a bunch of like right-wing militia groups that were scattered on their own and turned them into like a movement that's trying to gain territory. And he rescues I can't tell if this is a woman or a kid. I guess this is a woman. He rescues a woman that they're holding hostage, and they shoot like an RPG at him, and he pushes her out of the way and takes the shot. And they're like, "Oh my God, he's dead. We killed Captain America. Go get me his shield. This isn't America anymore." And the smoke clears, and Captain America jumps out of it and says, "Wrong, Buster. I'm back, and I'm cleaning this mess up." And he just keeps wrecking these militia guys.
He's back.
You know, thank God. He couldn't be bothered to stop the Maker, but a couple rednecks have guns.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, we're glad he's back. And I'm glad that him feeling guilty over the death of Spider-Man kind of had some consequences and weight. In the fact that he was sidelined for 12 issues during Hickman's entire, like, Ultimates. Isn't that wild that Hickman wrote 12 issues of the Ultimates and Captain America was, like, barely in it?
Yeah, you're right. That is pretty big repercussions for the death of Spider-Man.
So we changed scenes. We're in Stark Tower in New York City, and kind of like how the president is getting, like, briefed in his Situation Room, Tony Stark is getting briefed in the boardroom. And I think this might be some commentary about, like, I don't know, big business, because his Situation Room looks way more advanced and capable than the actual president's. Like, the president had one TV. It was in a cave.
But everything also got blown up in Washington.
This is true, but the government owns lots of buildings that aren't in Washington. But, yeah, Tony Stark is getting briefed on everything, too, as, like, both a businessman and, you know, public figure, superhero guy. And the very first thing they say is stock market in free fall.
Stocks are down.
67% chance of food shortages in the next week. Hyperinflation across Asia. There's no precedent. Price of gold skyrocketing. Like, if you're talking about a world catastrophe and the first thing you're worried about is the stock market is in free fall, you've lost the plot. And I think that was done intentionally.
Yep. It is down pretty bad. I can see the charts.
We're in the red, except for Neo, somehow. And he's looking at his tablet, and he's got like a scan of his tumor, his brain tumor that he's looking at. And some, like, I don't know, executive in his company is like, "Mr. Stark, are you listening? This is a very real crisis. Our company is vulnerable. We need you to focus on..." And he, like, looks up and he looks at the TV and he sees Captain America kicking ass. And he's like, "Is that?" And he's pops up and he's like, "Jarvis, call the armor lab." And he starts walking away. And these, like, business guys, I hate them because they're, like, talking about the problem and they know they're talking to Iron Man. And they're, like, surprised he's going to walk away and actually do something about it instead of worrying about the stock market with them.
Yep.
They're like, "How dare you walk
out? Mr. Stark, the Stark company has problems we need to address.
We're still in this meeting." And they're like, "Where the hell are you going?" And someone says, "Oh, I'm sorry, New Jarvis. New Jarvis says somewhere you can't follow." Dude, I like new Jarvis. He's
Yep.
he's learning on the job.
Mhm.
He's picking it up. And someone he like gets suited up and they're like, "Mr. Stark, this is Control. All systems ready. How do you feel?" And he says, "Tougher than Jay-Z and prettier than Beyonce. Let's see what my new toy can do." Launch. And he shoots up out of the building in his new Iron Man armor. And he says, "I'd like to make a call." And we cut to the ruins of Asgard, where Thor, this is kind of sad. I really did feel for him in this scene. He's flying through just this decimated city, and he's carrying like the head of a stone statue. And he gets to a courtyard that you can tell like used to be probably somewhere really like honorable and important. And he puts the decapitated statue head back on the body that it went on. And he's like, "I'm sorry, father, they threw it in the river." And he's like talking to this decapitated statue of his father Odin. And he's like
Was this
apologizing.
the Children of Tomorrow? They came and attacked Asgard, right?
Yeah, they slaughtered them all.
Oh, sad.
He goes, "I am lost, and you were silent. Your ghosts used to mock me incessantly. Why won't you answer me now?" And then in Thor's earpiece, you hear like someone singing, and he's like, "Here I am. Rock me like a hurricane." And Thor's like, "Tony." And Tony is in a good mood because they just found out where their buddy Steve is. He's like, "Thor, what's up, you handsome scoundrel?" And Thor says, "I'm tempted to crush this wretched device into a fine mist." And Tony just goes, "Stellar. Thor, listen, I'm en route to New Mexico. Meet me there ASAP. I'd come, but you aren't exactly on the way." He's like, "I'm not in the mood for this." And Tony says, "Thor, I'm not thinking about redheads for once. I need you to get off your butt and stop feeling sorry for yourself. And our friends need you too. See you in a bit." And Thor hangs up and he's like, "Our friend?" Again, I really like the relationship between Thor and Tony. I like they are just bros.
They're buds.
He's like, calls him up and he's like, "Hey man, I know you're probably wallowing right now. Don't do that. Come out with me and the boys. Let's crack some skulls together."
Where's Thor's son?
That is a good question.
He's just gonna appear at some point.
He truly will appear at some point. I don't want to give more away than that. So we cut back to New Mexico. Captain America is holding up one of the thugs and he's like, "The fat guy with the big mouth, your leader, where is he?" And a camera crew behind him, presumably the one that's been broadcasting his fight across, all these other scenes. They're like, "Cap, behind you." And we see a Nimrod. John, I don't know if we've talked about it. Do you know what the Nimrods are?
I assumed that this was just a Sentinel.
Okay. It's essentially like the Mega Sentinel. It's like the boss level one.
Ah.
Traditionally, a Nimrod can't be destroyed. It just keeps reconstituting itself. And it like adapts and like learns mutants' powers. So generally they're like this unkillable beast in the X-Men mythos that you just have to run away from. Or you have to go back in time and prevent it from ever being made in the first place. But you can't beat it straight up in a one-on-one fight.
So
and
how do they get beaten?
Well, in this universe, they're very clearly not that powerful. Like, you could just smash them like other robots. But generally, when you see a Nimrod, you're like, "Oh shit, this is like kind of a scary situation."
Well, why wouldn't they just build 1,000,000 of them if they're that powerful? Like
well,
in the normal universe.
Yeah. Oftentimes they do in like alternate universe stories that end with all of the mutants getting wiped out. Because there's really not a believable way that like you either have to nerf the Nimrods or you have to annihilate the mutants. That's kind of the catch-22 of it.
Okay.
So usually there's just like one Nimrod who traveled back in time and he's like the Terminator and he'll chase them around for a bit and they'll get away and then they'll fuck off somewhere else. And then eventually he becomes Bastion, who's like the bad guy in X-Men 97. It's complicated.
Yes. Okay.
This one pops up behind him and it looks beat to hell. So like we know it's been fighting probably the X-Men, and it's about to blast Captain America. He like protects himself with his shield, and we see this creepy guy with red hair. He's got one red eye, one blue eye, and a nose ring, and he says, "I've got it set to auto kill, sir. We'd better retreat while we can." And this other dude next to him, who looks like Johnny Rotten, calls him Morez. He's like, "Morez, that hacked together Nimrod is some next level business. Burn the flag." And Captain America is like smoking from the blast. And he says, "Unless there's a Nazi brain in there, I'm not impressed." And he lunges at the Nimrod and he starts fighting it. And then all of a sudden, something from above blasts it. And we see Iron Man show up. And then Iron Man starts fighting the Nimrod. And he's just like ripping it to pieces with his bare hands. And this is where I was like, okay, so apparently Nimrods in this universe are significantly weaker. They're just Sentinels.
He did say it's a hacked together Nimrod.
Right. Which I don't really understand that either, because I think they have to be like nanotech, like by definition, to like reconstitute themselves and learn and everything. But it's fine. And the like hillbilly militia people get in their little trucks and they start driving away and they're like, "Retreat." And Captain America just starts barking out orders. It's like they never left. It's like they never went anywhere. He didn't expect Iron Man to show up, but he's like, "Tony, stop them." And then Thor shows up and does it first. And we've got the big three standing there questioning this douchebag. And the guy's like, "Morez, where are you?" Oh my god.
They needed like an easy person to take down first, get their groove back.
Sure.
Now they can focus on the real problems.
You always get the underboss first.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go for like the mob king. But this was interesting, is there was two of these guys were in this truck, and the one that was controlling the robot with the two different colored eyes has like disappeared. He's not there anymore. And his friend is looking for him. And Thor cracks the dude in the head, and Captain America says, "Welcome back to the United States of America." And then a little bit after that, seems like they're kind of catching up. And Tony's like, "Where you been?" And Cap just says, "Away." He's like, "Why'd you come back?" And he says, "Been too long." He's like, "You got that right. I missed you more than good champagne we can't get anymore." And Captain America's like, "What happened while I was gone?" And then Tony gets interrupted. He doesn't tell them. He doesn't tell Cap. Because we know. This is just us being told Captain America apparently didn't realize how bad things were with the Maker. Because he's like, "What happened while I was gone? How did America fall apart?" And Carol calls Tony right then. And he's like, "Guys, we're needed at the Triskelion in New York. Apparently Texas is threatening to launch a nuke at America." And we cut to Dallas, and it says the capital of the new Republic of Texas. And in like the penthouse of the tallest tower, people say, "We're all in agreement then. The Southwest is lost, but we won't let it drag Texas to hell with it, no matter what it takes. Now, are you sure about this, Mr. Morez?" And then the red-headed guy with two different colored eyes from earlier is like, "Absolutely, you're doing the right thing. All you need to do is say the word and Texas is saved." So,
what's the plan? I don't understand.
For this guy?
Yeah.
So, this was the guy that was just in that truck that like
I
disappeared. And now he seems to be one of the ringleaders for Texas as an independent nation that is like pointing its nukes towards America.
So does he want to nuke America? He says all you need to do is say the word and Texas is saved.
Yeah, I think he's on the side of the secessors. What is the word here? He's on the side of the new Republic of Texas, and against America.
Okay. Well,
But he
what
was
do we
also
think?
just on the side of those militia guys who are doing their own thing. So it seems like it's less of he's
He might-
actually on their side and more of he's just against America.
That's what I was gonna say. Is he's just an anti-government guy.
He's just throwing gas on all the fires he can
He
find.
probably just wants to make money or accumulate power.
Maybe we'll see.
We'll see.
He does have a very interesting motive. I'm excited
Is he
for us to
someone
get
from
to.
the comics in general, more as?
I don't know.
What'd you think?
I liked this one. It was just simple. It's just getting the gang back together, Captain America kicking ass. But, I think it's a good, fun time. And as much as I like Hickman's run on the Ultimates, this is more of what, like, the Ultimates feels like to me. Because Hickman's run was, like, very little of it actually had to do with, like, Thor or Cap. It was mostly Tony and then whatever other characters a scene called for, right? And it was this big, like, high stakes sci-fi thing. This is just the good guys saving America.
They're just
Which-
beating up bad guys.
It's just a more traditional, straightforward, like, Avengers or Ultimates kind of story.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine as like a palate cleanser after we just did a really, really long, good, big arc that was something different.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10 Code Reds across America.
Wow. Mountain Dew Code Reds.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that was really big back in those days.
That's my all-time favorite soda. I had one yesterday.
Okay, now I have to talk about it. I wasn't going to. I haven't had soda in years because I gave it up when I was a cross-country runner in high
So
school.
Good, dude.
I was in Costco today and they had a case of like butter beer, essentially. Like it says butterscotch non-alcoholic beer, and it's straight up just what you get at Universal Studios at the Harry Potter World.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I've already had 2 bottles of
Oh,
it.
really? Is it?
Yeah. I just had
Interesting.
it with dinner. Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to try that next time I'm in Costco.
I'll like send you a picture of the box so you can look for it.
So this one was a pretty good one for all the reasons that you said. It gets the gang back together. It's got some good fight team ups with the boys. I think I'll go with a 7.5 out of 10 though. I don't think enough happened for me to go higher than that. You
Yeah.
know, they did just beat up like random faceless people or nameless people, I guess.
That's true. I think I'm also giving it a little bit of grace because like this and also I think the last 2 issues that we read, it's like Sam Humphries, who I don't even know. He's like not a big name in comics. Or if he is, I'm so sorry. I've never read any of his stuff. He's like he had to finish Hickman's story, and I don't think he did that bad of a job at that. I mean, obviously, I think we have thoughts about like the tumor kind of Deus Ex Machina at
Oh,
the
yeah.
end, but other than that, I mean, it was like well written in a way that you didn't. It wasn't like a stark difference. Like, oh my god, this is written by a different guy, and I can tell immediately. And then these here, you could also believe that this was a comic that came out from like a much more famous, like lauded comic writer. If you told me that this was written by Bendis, I'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe. I mean, the dialogue isn't quite like how Bendis does, but just as a story, it's not bad.
Yeah, definitely not. What did we rate this out of? 8 out of 10 what?
Code Reds.
Oh, that's right. Okay, and I'll do 7.5 out of 10 Code Reds.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to do this to you, but do you just want to do this next one?
Sure.
That can be your penance for not editing on time.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to pay penance.
Yep.
I'll do this and 10 Hail Marys.
Okay, perfect.
So now, Divided We Fall, Part 2, America's Team. And this is Sam Humphries, writer, penciled by Billy Tan and Timothy Green II, inked by Terry Pollitt, colored by, oh man, I'm going to butcher this name and I'm going to feel so bad for it, Ifishna Newer,
Nailed it.
and lettered by VC's Clayton Cowles. So we see the map again that's still showing us, where things are happening. That's gonna be a motif for this whole event because we got to make the map clear. We've got to put it back all under U.S. control, baby. Manifest destiny. Hoorah!
Well, something that is interesting is it says classified position Camp Hutton, and they don't show that on the map.
Right. Yeah, it never says where Camp Hutton is. Like,
What's
even
a classified position?
remotely,
Even
where
on
it
this
is.
map.
Yeah,
All we know is it's 311 below sea level somewhere.
that's true. I don't think they ever do say it. Okay, so we start with like a TV broadcast.
You probably know this because you're smart, but all of these different spots that say area of urban interest, are those just like big cities? Like, is that Chicago?
Urban unrest.
Oh, urban unrest.
Yeah, there is. I can't remember which issue it's in, but there is a line about like, oh, there's like these protests going on in St. Louis and Detroit and Portland, and so like those are highlighted on the map. I do think it's funny that it says Great Lakes states status unknown. Like, what the hell do you mean? Just call someone from over there,
I wonder if that has to do with like the water. Maybe that's why those are of interest. The waterways.
Well, I also
water
noticed...
is important for agriculture, in case you didn't know that. And it used to be important for trade on the waterways.
I mean, still is. Dude, remember when the Suez Canal got blocked a couple years ago?
Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
We don't know how to move this boat. I'm also looking at this map and realizing that whoever colored it in didn't know what the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is, because everything else is supposed to be yellow, including the glove.
You're right. That should be, yeah.
The mitten of Peninsula, but the UP is white, which is fine. Nothing happens in the UP anyways. That's like the safest. If we were in America in this exact situation, I would go and lay low in the Upper Peninsula and just live totally normal, because
you're right. No one's worrying about that.
Yeah. You can drive for like 3 hours and not pass any civilization in the Upper Peninsula. I don't even know if they have any McDonald's up there. Okay, so, oh yeah, here we go. In Sacramento, 2 Silicon Valley billionaires claim to have established a unity government, the so-called West Coast Nation. So this is funny. Everyone is just seeing their opportunity to be like, well, America's fucked. I'm now the ruler of my county.
I wonder if that is what would happen.
I think history tells us it would. I mean, that's what happened in China until, Chairman Mao brought the country back together. Not to get political.
Is it?
Yeah, they had a bunch of different warlords. The entire country was like fractured, and that's why they were getting their asses kicked in all of these wars. They had what was called the Century of Humiliation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was Chairman Mao good?
Well,
because Zach, I heard he's a communist.
He is a communist. The communists will tell you he's a communist. It's a matter of, is that a bug or a feature to you? I'll say this about him. He did not know very much about sparrows, and that ended up being very bad. He labeled them as a pest because he thought that they were like hurting the agriculture of the country, and he basically gave everyone permission to like kill sparrows on sight, and it led to a famine. So,
killing sparrows led to a famine? How?
It just like fucked up their ecosystem. I don't know, like the food chain or something. Like
Wow.
Sparrows were actually eating the grasshoppers that
they
were really
probably
the
eating
problem
the
or
pests.
something. Yeah.
Wow, that is so interesting. I mean, just something like that. So is that what brought down Chairman Mao's empire?
Nothing brought down Chairman Mao's empire. He died, and Deng Xiaoping took over, and then like kind of eased business relations with the West and created socialism with Chinese characteristics, which just means we're going to take care of our people, but we're also doing markets.
So is China good?
Dude, I kind of like China. I know that's a hot take. I know that's like un-American, but
I mean, I don't know, dude. There's nothing wrong with other countries being good. I just always thought China was supposed to be bad, right? They're spying on us with TikTok.
Because we get a shit ton of propaganda telling us that it's bad, but we're spying on ourselves. Dude, the government is spying on us right now.
That's true.
The difference between
that's my government.
TikTok and the NSA is I downloaded TikTok on my own free volition.
That is funny. I'm like, I don't have TikTok. I'm not going to let the Chinese government spy on me. Well, the U.S. is just going to do it on their own, right? So like you said, there's nothing we can do about that. So,
yeah. If you are dick riding for any nation and think that they're just completely good and like have anyone's best interests at heart and have no complicated history, you're a loser. You need to like learn history. You're propagandized in some way, in some direction. You know, you can even be a patriot, but if you're like, we don't apologize for America, we've never done anything wrong, you're a dumbass.
Well, every country has done so many terrible things, probably.
One can speculate. No, we can. It's completely true. In fact, that's kind of the point of Jonathan Hickman's run on X-Men, where he like built the utopian nation of Krakoa, and it's like 99.99% like an absolute socialist, perfect utopia. And there's still like compromises that they have to make with bad people that make it feel gross and nasty. And people point to and they're like, see, Krakoa is actually supposed to be a bad thing. And it's like, no, he's saying that like every nation has blood on its hands.
Yeah. For as long as the world's been around, if a nation is still going strong, they've committed some atrocities.
Horrific ones. Yes. Anyways, this got way off.
No, this is pretty par for the course, I'd say.
Okay, so the TV's like, hang on, we've got breaking developments. This is a live feed from downtown Dallas. What you are seeing is a Shield helicarrier that appeared over the city less than a minute ago. And this Morez dork, the guy with the two different colored eyes, is like on the phone, and they're like, Morez, where the hell did you go?
Is he a dork? I thought we liked him.
He's a bad guy.
He's interesting, though.
He is interesting. This is
What's
a funny
his power?
bit.
Teleportation?
Clearly, yeah, he precognition of where the hell the Ultimates are gonna be, and then he gets the fuck out of there within minutes. Like, this
Smart
is the
man.
second time this has happened. He's in a truck that they crash, and then all of a sudden he's not in the truck anymore. He's in Dallas. And then they come to Dallas to kick ass, and someone calls him and they're like, Morez, where'd you go? And he's like, I'm in Washington, D.C. And the person on the other end of the line is like freaking out. It's one of those billionaires that he was meeting with in the last issue. And he's like, Morez, the helicarrier showed up out of nowhere. And Morez is like, sounds like an opportunity to show the world that Texas means business. And he goes, that gold bought you a lot of muscle. Time to use it. And we see 50 miles outside of Houston, they launch a nuclear weapon.
Dude, has the world gone crazy? They're
Seems
passing
like
out
it.
nukes like it's Halloween candy.
I also
Nukes used to mean something, Zach.
yes. All you damn Gen Zers now and your nukes.
Well, didn't they just launch like the entire nuclear arsenal of the United States at the Maker?
Yes, and that's what I was going to say is I feel like this is a continuity error because that definitely was before Texas seceded and would have included any nukes in Texas. So unless they just built a brand new nuke in the span of like a couple weeks,
Yeah,
I think we got him here.
we got him. I'll put in the alarm bells.
Okay. And so it's like, what's Morez doing in Washington? Well, he's going to meet with this senator. We don't know who it is. It's Senator Underwood. Isn't that
a lot of this storyline? Yes, that is Frank Underwood from House of Cards. Is that what you were about to say?
What time? What year did that show come out? Was this a coincidence?
2013 maybe was probably like the House of Cards heyday.
Okay.
House of Cards was 2013, first episode air date. Wow.
Okay. And what's this comic from? Like 2012? This might
I
have.
don't-
This might
Gosh,
just be a.
Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say this might be a coincidence, but it's a funny one.
This run, it reminds me of like the Star Wars prequels where they're just like there's so much just like politicking around, like that's the most interesting thing. It's like, oh, we've got to meet with these senators and talk about these politics.
The trade union will not agree to this blockade.
Yeah.
Do you say that as a good thing or a bad thing though? Because I actually love that about the Star Wars prequels.
I say that as kind of a bad thing.
Okay. It's cool to know what we're fighting about or what we're not fighting about or what they think they're fighting about and they're dumb bitches and they're just playing into Palpatine's scheme.
That's what it is none of it even matters.
Right. That's the fun of the politics in the Star Wars prequels is you can tell they are losing the forest for the trees. They're like so locked in to like whatever this one conflict at hand is. And they're like, okay, let's solve it
That they've given the country over to
Yes.
the bad guys.
They're like, let's solve it diplomatically. Can't solve it diplomatically. All right, let's send the Jedi in. Can't send the Jedi in. All right, the clone troopers. That's how we're going to deal with this. Okay. Well, now all of your institutions are collapsing on you, and you ignored all of the warning signs and actually enabled the guy who is doing it. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Maybe that's what they're doing here too.
I think that is kind of what Morez has in mind a little bit. I mean, he's just doing a whole bunch of espionage and subterfuge and whatnot.
Causing chaos.
He is.
He's doing Loki stuff, kind of.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. That's a good way to put it. And the TV's like, it seems Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor are on the ground in Texas. The Ultimates have invaded a nuclear-armed nation. And we go to 2 hours ago in the Triskelion. So this is, remember, where we left off last issue, where Tony gets a call and he's like, we're needed back at the Triskelion. And it's Carol Danvers briefing Steve Rogers on what's going on in Texas. And she says, most citizens in Texas are against secession. Our intel says there's a cartel of business leaders who are calling the shots. They're in hiding, strategically spreading out in downtown Dallas. We can't get a lock on them. The area is protected by weaponry from the SHIELD experimental lab outside Houston, which is where they found their nuke.
Oh,
And
maybe we didn't get them.
I still don't think there should just be a nuke that they found after the president of the United States says launch all of the nukes America has. I know we historically have lost like 5 or 6 nukes in our history, but this still feels a little sloppy.
Well, it's an experimental SHIELD lab, so it probably wasn't like set up, armed, and ready to go.
Well, it clearly is now.
We didn't get them.
Okay.
It might not make sense, but we didn't get them.
So basically she says the military is tied up with all these other threats that they're doing. They've said they're going to nuke us if we step foot on Texas soil. You'll have 15 minutes to find the ringleaders and get the disarm codes. And she says New York will begin evacuating immediately. And this is a cool aura moment. Cap says, don't bother, Carol. We'll do it in 14.
Because she says they have 15 minutes. Yeah, Captain America's a badass.
This is pretty fucking badass. I don't like him playing fast and loose with the whole city of New York, though. Like, okay, bud, what happens? Let's just play devil's advocate here. What happens if they're like using a VPN and you get there and there's no one? Like, and you just said don't evacuate. Feel pretty silly.
Well, 15 minutes isn't going to matter against a nuke anyways.
I guess that's true. Okay, so we cut to, like, they're in the action, and there's a little timer down at the bottom. If this was 24, we'd have the clock sound effect running. And he says, we've got 13 minutes, people. Iron Man, get their attention. And Iron Man's flying around, blowing stuff up, and Black Widow is on the street dual-wielding pistols, and Thor comes down and brings his hammer with a big crack-a-thoom, And they invited Hawkeye too so that he can feel like part of the team.
Rakathum! That's awesome.
And they say, Hawkeye, any luck spotting the chief executives? And he goes, negative, Cap. There's a lot of windows up here, even for my eyes. Incredible stuff.
Hawkeye, that's your whole job.
Thanks, bud. We'll check in with you later.
Just try your best, okay? Because that's why we brought you.
Yeah. Remember, it's all about having fun out there. And Tony has like a whole brigade of war machines that it looks like he's like piloting remotely. So he's got his main Iron Man suit, and he's got a whole bunch of like automated ones in tow, which is pretty cool.
I think that you have misunderstood these panels, because
What's that?
Hawkeye says, just keep that war machine brigade away from me, Tony. And then Tony like doesn't know what he's talking about. And then there's a bunch of war machine people, and it looks like they're aiming their guns at him. And Tony says, "Oh, a little help, please." Because I think the war machine brigade is being controlled by a bad guy.
I think you're right. Thank you. I definitely missed that. One of the shield bases that these Texans have definitely is like piloting a bunch of war machines to go after Iron Man. And we see Captain America crouched behind something, and it literally just looks like a big pistol, but it's like a cannon. And he's like, there it is, the dirty, hairy cannon. He goes, Monica, and she's like, I'm in position, Cap. And they charge this cannon thing from two different sides and take control of it. And Black Widow gets in the driver's seat of it. And she basically fires what looks like a Spartan laser from Halo to take out most of the...
I remember those.
Weren't those badass?
Yes.
She takes out a bunch of the war machines that are chasing Tony and shooting at him. And he says, Widow, I owe you a sports car with a perverse-sounding Italian name.
Classic Tony.
I'm trying to think what Italian car has a perverse name.
I know. What a, like, weird joke to make. Was he sitting on that?
It kind of feels right, but I can't think of a single example.
And what's an Italian-sounding sports car? Is Porsche?
Porsche. But that's not, like... Tony, you have porn brain if you think that that's like...
Maserati?
Yeah, but those just sound cool.
I know. I don't... Perverse, yeah. I think that does just say more about Tony than it does about anything else.
Poor guy.
He's got to get that under control.
Reminds me of my favorite billboard that's probably not real. It's probably photoshopped, but you see it sometimes where it's like, have a masturbation addiction? Jesus can help you beat it. And Thor comes in with his big old hammer and starts taking out some more of the war machines. And Tony says, I'm scanning as fast as I can, Cap. I'm monitoring comms and triangulating the satellites. It's like a needle in the haystack. And we cut back to Washington, D.C. to see this meeting between Senator Underwood and Mr. Morez. And he says, did I hear you correctly? You represent an armed militia planning to seize power in Wyoming, and you want me to use the powers of the Senate Emergency Committee to make sure the U.S. backs off? He's like, yep, that's right. He's like, and why would I help another state fall away from the Union? And Morez says, we've got an arrangement to supply coal to the West Coast nation. They've got a lot of computers to keep humming, and a lot of money to do it. Should you give a fledgling country room to thrive, we'd be generous in our gratitude. To you, directly. And the senator says, the country is burning, Mr. Morez, and you're proposing treason. And he says, I'm calling security. And then Morez says, Griffin, Idaho. A gas leak from the pesticide factory. Over 50 people killed and 5,000 cases of poison-related disease. Yet the pesticide company escaped prosecution, and you received a pretty penny for your re-election fund. Right now, everyone is paying attention to the sky falling. Surely you can get away with a little deal on the side. So, again,
everybody's dirty.
They're just shoving these politics down our throats, John. He finds a corrupt senator,
I'm
and
glad
he's like,
that this would never happen though in real life.
yeah, I'm glad that they don't take bribes legally that are publicly known, and yet we can't stop it because they're just campaign contributions. And also I love that private businesses are considered individuals and have political speech and can pay super PACs that give money directly to the campaigns. Anyways, this is getting a lot into
I love both of those things too.
Yeah, this is a money and politics podcast now. But yeah, this guy I do appreciate that the evil senator was like, this is treason, I'm calling security. And then Moraes is like, you're not hearing me. I'm going to offer you a lot of money. He's like, okay, let's do this.
He kind of offered it before. Why wouldn't he just, I think he was just like, no, remember, you've already taken a bribe. It's fine. You can take another one.
Dude, you might have remembered. You might have forgotten this, but you were already a crooked senator. He's like,
when this
oh my
guy
God,
was
you're
talking,
right.
When this guy was talking, I was thinking, if somebody just waltzed in, at first I actually thought he was talking to the president, but I was like, if somebody just waltzed into like the office of a very high up person and said some treason, what would an appropriate punishment be? I mean, can't you like kill people for treason? Isn't that like the worst thing someone's supposed to be able to do? So they could just throw this guy in jail forever just for this conversation.
Oh yeah. I guess not only that, they could do the same thing to the senator for having the conversation with him.
Yeah. Did you know there's these people in like the Cold War time? You probably know their name, but it was like a family that the US thought was like Russian spies.
The Rosenbergs?
Yeah. And then it turned out they weren't.
Oh, not the Rosenbergs. The Rosenbergs actually were spies.
No. I think, Zach, that years later, now I heard this, so anyone can fact check this and I can Google it. But I'm pretty sure years later, the Russian government was like, we never knew what was going on with them. That was all just kind of they were sowing doubt.
That is very funny for the Russian government to say, regardless of if it's true or not. I think it's probably not true. And the reason I think it's not true is because I follow a lot of like leftist Instagram pages that are like, rest in power, Ethel Rosenberg, because of your heroic sacrifice, a capitalist country does not have worldwide sole control over nuclear weapons. Like, they were basically praising her for like giving, a Soviet state like a fighting chance in the Cold War.
Wow, there's a lot of I think you're right. I'm seeing a lot of, it seems like some proof has come out, or like KGB notebooks. I don't know. I'm scanning the Wikipedia page extremely quickly, but who knows? Yeah, that is kind of a funny thing for them to do, regardless of it's true or not. Just sowing more doubt, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the fun of it, is that is like the kind of government like espionage stuff that I kind of think is hilarious. Like, it would be so funny if if North Korea just came out tomorrow, because they don't have a dog in the fight, but they could come out tomorrow and be like, oh yeah, Jeffrey Epstein worked for Israel. We've known that for decades. Our intelligence was on this a long time ago. You can believe us or
just
not.
Put out some information, yeah.
But it's the truth, okay? If I was a rogue nation, I'd be doing shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
And it would be stupid shit too.
That's not far off from what the current president is doing on a day-to-day basis. But isn't he just spouting stuff all day long?
Well, that's what all presidents of all countries always do. But yeah, I'm saying, like, if you gave me a world government, it would be chaos, because I would have my intelligence services being like, hey, did you know the NFL was actually rigged for 10 years to hold Peyton Manning back? This went all the way to the top of the U.S. government, man. Yep. Anyways, back in Dallas, there's 5 minutes left, and Hawkeye is like, there you are. Cap, I finally got eyes on the Billionaires Club. Fucking took him long enough.
Well, that's it, only like 9 minutes. Pretty good. There were a lot of windows.
Yeah. He says Burnett Plaza, 21st window. 21st floor, the only windows lit. And he's like, got it. What's their disposition? And he says, chicken heads cut off. So they're panicking. He says 14 shield soldiers. And Cap says, Hawkeye, clear the room of hostiles on my mark. Thor, we need an immediate airlift. Iron Man, keep them busy out here. And Iron Man is like doing air acrobatics with a bunch of war machines chasing him. And he's like, keep them busy, he says. I could send them my to-do list. That'll keep him busy. As Tony is fighting the war machines, he's kind of talking to his tumor. And he's like, Cap says, Tony, if you're sure we can trust your talking brain tumor with this, then make sure Anthony is online and good to go. And Iron Man's like, Roger, Cap. He didn't fail us in Europe and he won't fail us here. We're ready when you are. And he goes, Anthony, you hear that? I want you to suit up. And so he's talking to his tumor, which I think is funny that Captain America still doesn't really believe in it. Like, he's been told this story. Oh, yeah, Tony has a sentient tumor that took down the Maker. And he's like, right.
I wouldn't believe it.
But there's all these other witnesses who are like, no, that's actually what happened, dude. We don't understand it either. There's 2 minutes and 8 seconds left. And Thor, Cap, and Black Widow get into like the headquarters of the billionaires running Texas. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, you are under arrest for treason against the United States of America and God knows what else. One of you has the nuclear abort codes. I want them now. And they're like, oh my God, we're a sovereign nation. You've invaded us. We have every right to defend ourselves. And they're holding gold bricks because remember, American currency is like in the shitter. So that's what their new country is backed by. And these gold bricks have a symbol on them that Thor recognizes. And he kind of freaks out. And Cap goes, Monica, quickly, interrogation. And she goes, don't need it. Third one from the left, rotten poker face. He's the one. Cap says, Thor, you're up. Tony, go for the end zone. And Thor picks the dude up by his shirt, and he's like, foolish mortal, blinded by greed. Your gold is corrupted by forces you cannot understand. And with 49 seconds until nuclear detonation, he throws this guy out the window. And Iron Man catches him in midair and says, touchdown. Because he said, go for the end zone. He flies the dude up into the stratosphere, and with 10 seconds left, he says 2 things you might not know about me. 1, I've got 2 hours of oxygen in this suit. 2, I'm not good at sharing. So why don't you just give me the codes? And the guy whispers in his ear, Fraternity of Raptors. And he's like, we got him. Anthony, did you hear that? Anthony, did you get it? Disarm the nuke. And the little kid, Tony Stark, the tumor embodiment, says, I've got it. I've got control of the missile. And we see it counting down. 3, 1. It doesn't show 2, which I think it should. I think there should be 3 panels next to each other that say 3, 2, 1. But he's writing it like, do you know this reference? Have you seen Doctor Strangelove?
No, I haven't.
Okay. There's a Kubrick movie where a guy is on top of a nuke that gets dropped, and it's falling, and he's riding on top of it like it's a rodeo, and he's got his cowboy hat, and he's like, wee.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what this is referencing.
That's what Anthony's doing, and we see it's about to touch down in New York, and all the people in the Situation Room are nervous, and the clock hits 0, and then someone says, congratulations, Mr. President. The missile landed harmlessly in the Hudson River. We have no detonation. Repeat, no detonation. And Carol's like, may New York never know how close it was to being another Washington, D.C. So that's good. They saved the day. But then Senator Underwood shows up on the screen, and he says, an emergency ruling from the Supreme Court regarding President Howard. At the time Howard took the presidential oath of office, he was acting Secretary of Energy and had yet to be sworn in by the Senate. His place in the line of succession for the presidency is erroneous. So he's like basically claiming a constitutional crisis and saying like they're revoking the president's authority. I don't think he can do that.
No, not just one random senator.
And he's saying it's a ruling from the Supreme Court.
Now,
What
if it actually is, then maybe the Supreme Court could also be given bribes.
I suppose that's true. Thank God that would never
happened before.
No. The judicial branch is beyond reproach.
Yes.
And so the guy says the American Republic finds itself in a crisis under powers granted to us by Winter Protocols. The Senate Emergency Powers Committee is declaring a suspension of executive powers and a special election to declare a president whose legitimacy cannot be questioned. After the dramatic events in Dallas, Texas is once more part of the Union. Dude, this happened 2 seconds ago, and you've already written this speech.
It is an interesting constitutional crisis, because if he hadn't been sworn in yet, then maybe he isn't actually in the line of succession. I don't know the rules, and I don't know how that would be interpreted, but there probably is an argument to be made there, because there's some gray area of if he's actually the senator or not.
So here's my thoughts, and this could just be like two dumb bitches saying exactly the podcast. But I'm just thinking about it in terms of like the line of succession is written into the law. That is like ironclad. It should be easy to say, like, if the vice president is dead, this person becomes president. If this person is dead, this person becomes president. And you follow that to its like whatever logical conclusion. And in this situation, they were like, we know all of these people are dead, and the energy secretary is the next person in the line of succession. So the last time that like we had to do this, when it was just like a surprise that the president died, was JFK in 1963. And, I think Congress has to approve electors for the Electoral College to certify an election, right? Because that's like what the January 6th storming the Capitol was about. But in 1963, when JFK got shot, within hours, LBJ is getting sworn in on Air Force One. There's pictures of it, right? Like him and Jackie Kennedy are still in the clothes that they were wearing that had JFK's blood on it. That's how fast the turnaround was. And no one questioned his legitimacy because presumably, like, you're not becoming president via
that's not the same
election.
Thing.
You're becoming president to serve out the rest of the term.
The reason that there's gray area in this is because he hadn't been sworn in yet as the secretary.
Well, no, they said at the time Howard took the presidential oath of office, he was acting Secretary of Energy and had yet to be sworn in by the Senate.
So he was the acting secretary, but he hadn't been sworn in yet.
But he still took the oath of office.
No, but they're saying, Zach, try to understand, okay?
All right, I'm trying.
Your example of there's a clear line of succession is true, okay? The reason that there's gray area in this is because it sounds like the attack happened. Maybe this senator, there was an election in November, so he got elected, but he had not yet been sworn in by the Senate. So it was like between November and January. So technically he hadn't taken that position yet. And that's why this guy is now coming to it and saying he was not actually the next line of succession. So there is some gray area in this specific situation.
Like he has not been confirmed as the Secretary of Energy yet.
Yes.
Interesting. I hadn't considered that.
Well, that's what he's saying in this. That's what he says. That's why he says at the time he took the oath of office, he was acting Secretary of Energy and had yet to be sworn in by the Senate. That's why it bolds the word acting.
I see. Oh yeah, maybe that is a constitutional crisis. I don't know.
That is kind of interesting.
I'm also wondering now if, like, when the president got blown up, when the Capitol got blown up, he was like giving a like he had called Congress to session, right? It was like the State of the Union, basically. Like they killed the executive and legislative branch. They told us that. So where the hell was Senator Underwood that whole time? How did he live?
He was meeting that farmer on the field.
No, that's Howard. That's the
Oh,
president.
Oh, yeah, who knows? Maybe this is a new senator.
It's like the nukes. They just find more of them in
Yeah.
the back closet when they need
He
them.
was out sick.
Yeah. He's the second string senator.
He could have been the designated survivor.
Well, I think that's what Howard is.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they're going to be holding a new election, like an emergency election to get a president that everyone can respect and that can restore the nation, at least nominally. Truly, we know that it's just Morez trying to like sow more like chaos. So we go to Sacramento, California, the capital of the West Coast nation, and an old fart is talking, and he's like, Holt, we promise the people of the West Coast a new nation where technology erases boundaries between people. We didn't count on thousands of refugees flooding into California. Oh my God, now they're talking about refugees in our comics. Our grand experiment needs a chance to progress. We're an independent nation now. We have to close our borders. And some dork with an ugly face says, impossible, Stafford.
The artist for these two characters like did them no favors. I mean, they look like the guy from the Goonies, especially the second guy.
He looks like Vincent D'Onofrio in Independence Day.
Oh, dude. I thought you were going to say he looks like Vincent D'Onofrio when he's got like the bug skin on.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh,
well, that's
yes.
Men in Black. That's not
You're right.
Independence Day.
You're right. That's the other Alien movie from like 1996.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were just talking about like the Capitol blowing up. You can see where I got Independence Day from.
Yeah.
Someone interrupts them and he goes, robotics. Weaponized drones controlled by a central artificial intelligence. 1,000 of them could shut down even the most troublesome border. Oh man, don't give our current administration any ideas. And they're like, where would we get such a thing, Morez? And we see that that's who they've been talking to. Is now Morez has popped over to...
I know, he's always high. He's like, this whole issue is just like following Morez as he's like making backroom deals with senators.
Yeah. And he's like...
It's going to be reflected in my rating.
Out of how many locations Morez just pops in. He says Dr. Hank Pym developed them before his death. He called them WASPs, salvation through technology. I do think it's very funny that this is a 15-year-old comic now, and they're like, oh, what is the worst thing that could happen? Well, what if California got run by a bunch of tech bros? All right, what did you think of this one?
I think that it's pretty boring just watching Morez pop around making backroom deals with people.
Doesn't it? It doesn't make him like intriguing. Like, oh, what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
Not really. I don't know. I'm getting whiplash from the cool storyline of the Maker and all of that into whatever is happening here with like Texas wanting to secede and all these different things that it was more fun just watching Captain America and Thor and Iron Man like beat up some people.
Right.
But we'll see where we're going with this. I mean, the most interesting thing that happened was Thor seeing what was on the gold bars and having some sort of a reaction to it. And, you know, we don't even really follow that up at all. Obviously, it's probably coming down the line.
So I didn't call it out when we saw it earlier, but that same symbol appeared in the previous issue somewhere. So it's something where if you're looking for it, you can piece together what's happening.
Yeah.
But
so
it's still...
That's just I mean, it sounds like it's just some old-timey Asgardian enemy that's giving them money.
Yeah.
Is that
Seems
right?
like it. It's something like that. You're on the right track.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it 6.5 out of 10 Moraz locations. Around.
I'll give it 7 out of 10 Moraz locations because, like, while I agree that it's kind of stupid how he just keeps doing that, like, multiple times in the same issue. The whole, like, we have to storm Dallas and get the code and,
That was fun.
That was a fun mission. It really feels like we got
We're
the
still
gang
just
back
going to
together.
rely on Tony's tumor to solve the crisis at the end of the day.
Yep. We got a fun Kubrick reference out of it, which I'm always about.
Yep.
Yeah. Hawkeye got to do something. He
Okay,
used
I'll give
his
it a
Hawkeye,
7. I
and he's
kinda
like,
forgot about that. Yeah.
they're in that window, Cap. And he's like, thanks. The adults will take it from here.
That's awesome. Yeah, Hawkeye got to prove his worth. He almost failed, but he got there.
I mean, really a hero's journey through the eyes of Hawkeye.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. This was a 7 at least.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week?
Next week we will be continuing this with issues 15 and 16, and then I think we might be back
the
into
issues I
Spider-Man.
read were really good.
We're going. It's all one story. Is the thing is this is like the crossover event that touches all of the Ultimate books.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Issue 15 and 16 next week,
Yep.
or maybe 2 weeks. So
Whenever-
are we off Spider-Man stuff?
We're not off Spider-Man stuff.
No.
We're
I meant like for the podcast.
Oh. Well, no. Of course, we're not off Spider-Man stuff for the podcast.
I meant for like this week.
Yes.
Like,
I
are
know.
we done with the comics?
Yes, John. I'm having a little bit of fun here.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta be more specific.
My bad. Any big Thanksgiving plans?
We just did like
Thanksgiving
my
is
extended families.
tomorrow, based on when Zach and I are recording this.
That's true. We just did my extended Thanksgiving, extended family Thanksgiving last weekend. Surprisingly enough, we don't actually have Thanksgiving Day plans. I think we're just going to use them to. I'm going to work on my grad school application, edit the episode from last week,
Nice.
and going to put up our Christmas decorations. And then on Friday, we're just doing something small with like my parents and my sister. What about
Nice.
you?
I have a turkey dry brining in the fridge right now. And then I'll probably wake up kind of early and make that tomorrow. And then once I get finished at my parents' for Thanksgiving, I will also put up my Christmas decorations. I wait until I get home from Thanksgiving to do that. And then I'm taking a small passenger plane to Chicago or to Illinois, to Champaign on Saturday. Apparently that like annoys people not from like the Chicago area when you just refer to Illinois as Chicago in general. I don't know why they'd get upset about something like that.
Well, Champaign isn't Chicago.
That's what I keep hearing. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just Illinois. It's just Chicago is just like a word for Illinois.
Imagine if like you lived in Fort Wayne and someone kept saying you lived in Indianapolis.
Yeah, well,
You'd be like, it's far enough away.
So it's fine.
No.
Chicago is Illinois. You ask someone what the state is, kids these days, they'll be like Chicago. It's like, yeah, you're pretty much right.
You sound like Charlie when he's like, okay, so I'm lost here.
Pittsburgh
is Pennsylvania and Philadelphia is Pennsylvania. So are we in Pittsburgh right now?
Yeah. But I'm going to Illinois, not Chicago, Champaign.
This is going to sound so stupid, and she's not probably going to know what this is, but ask her if she's familiar with the American Football House in Urbana, because that's like kind of that would be a local thing to her that I'm curious to know.
What's it called? The American Football House?
Yes, I'm curious to know how much locals know about it. It's like the most famous house in emo music, and like I've made a pilgrimage there before, and just take pictures from the sidewalk, and you maybe like trespass into the backyard a little bit, and you just look at it and you're like, wow, there it is. And there was literally guys next door that were like out playing football in the street, and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're one of those people, aren't you? You're one of those American football fans. And I'm like, yeah.
Well,
They're
dude,
like,
I'll go
you
take
guys
a
come
picture
through
in
here
front
all the
of
time.
this.
Yeah, it's
I want to check this out.
yeah, it's a really shitty house, kind of off, like a block off the
Oh,
campus.
don't say that. People live there. I'm looking at a picture of it. It looks fine. It looks like every single house on the, east or west side. Like it's every single house in Irvington. And
Yeah,
there are some people that think Irvington is nice.
it's
Not
yeah,
me.
it's just a Midwest
Shitty.
house. It's like a rental for
Yeah. It's just like
Illinois.
an old house. It's like
Yeah.
every house you'd see at a, yeah.
The idea is it's like where college kids would live, and so that's where this band was living in 1999 when they recorded this album, and it's where they like took the picture for the album, and they've like since bought it, and I think they might turn it into like a house museum or something.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. I'll definitely, yeah.
But she'll probably be like, "No,
this.
I don't know what that is."
Maybe. Who knows? Probably. All right. What else do we have?
Gosh, I don't have anything.
I came in hot with a bunch of stuff, so I don't have anything either.
I guess, have I talked about my friend on the podcast before? And by friend, I mean the cat that lives outside that I want to bring in.
Nope.
Oh gosh. Okay. So when I go on my walks, there's this cat that I would see quite often. I know a lot of the street cats in Franklin, John, and they know me. And I know which ones are like friendly and want me to come play with them and visit them, and which ones are a little bit more timid. And my absolute favorite cat, I called her friend, and I've been like going to find her on my walks for several months now. And I was so worried that like no one was taking care of her and she was going to die in the cold that I was like surveying the neighborhood. I was like asking people whenever I saw them coming in and out of their house, "Hey, is this your cat? Do you know who's feeding it?" And I eventually found friends' human parents, and they were so nice and they were so sweet, and they said that they do bring her in on cold nights if she wants to
Nice.
come in. But usually she just loves being outside. And like when they do bring her in, she can't wait to get back outside the next day. So she's still very much like a wild outdoor cat, but at least like,
Well, you can't really bring her in. She's got other people.
I know. Well, ironically now they have a for sale sign on their house, and I'm like really worried now. I'm like,
wow. Now, yeah, you might have to.
shit, what do you mean you just told me that friend is safe for the winter, but you're selling your house?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to take her with you. I still want to see her on my walks. They named this cat. I was like, "So do you have a name for her?" Because I always just call her friend, and she answers to it. And they're like, "Yep, her name is Jerry." And I'm like, I kind of hate that.
Lame.
That's a terrible name. I just want to keep calling her friend.
Well, I think you'll have to take her in and then just not let her back out.
We've discussed it, but our house is way too small to have 4 cats.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's the sweetest thing, dude. This is like the most outgoing, playful cat you've ever seen.
Oh.
So,
What's
if
the
you
jam
want
of
her,
the week? No, I don't. I have enough cats. Thank you, though.
that's what everyone keeps telling me. Jam of the week. Let me just see. What have I been listening to lately? I'll say Chemistry by Kimya Dawson. I raked my leaves the other day to about 2 hours of Kimya Dawson.
Okay. And I'll say Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Yep, that's a throwback.
That's like an all-time great one-hit wonder.
Were they a one-hit wonder?
I don't know. Name any other King Harvest song.
I couldn't have told you who King Harvest was without looking at that. So
Exactly, because they're a one-hit wonder.
yeah, there you go. All right, there's 2 jams of the week.
All right.
We're going to be back next week or 2 weeks.
We'll see.
All right,
But we'll
Percy's
we'll
getting
definitely do better than I had been doing before.
Oh, we're all doing our best. All
That's
right,
right.
you ready?
Yep.
Thanks to all the webheads for listening and leaving us a review and a comment. You can find us the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast on Spotify or Apple Music or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And you can leave us a comment on Instagram at First Read Podcast. Send us an email at firstreadspidey@gmail.com or find us on YouTube, the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast. Percy, and I will see you next week, Zach.
All right. See
and all
ya.
the webheads. See ya.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.